T-minus 20 seconds. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Good.
You ready for do more in the future? Trap Talk podcasts?
Yes.
Man.
Only Trap Talk. Exclusive.
Yes.
Exclusive. Oh.
So stop calling us.
Scrub the spot, get the club to pop. When I come up with the crop, gotta love it or not. I'm hot from the hop to the scrub the spot, get the club to pop. When I come up with the scrub the spot, get the club to pop. When I come up with the scrub the spot, get the club to pop. When I come up with the scrub the spot, get the club to pop. When I come up with everybody, we do it. Everybody, we do it. Do it. Do it. Do it. Scrub the spot, get the club to pop. When I come up with the scrub the spot, get the club to pop. When I come up with the scrub the spot, get the club to pop. When I come up with the scrub the spot, get the club to pop. When I come up with
Woo. Holy Monitor Sessions. What is good, everybody? You are now tapped into the coolest reptile podcast in the world. I'm your boy, MJ. If this is your first time tapping in, do your boy a favor. Please hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell. That way you're on top of every single podcast that I drop here on the Snake Trap Sessions channel. And that way you're on top of every single vlog that I come out with on Saturdays, typically right before the podcasts that I have on Saturdays. But really awesome stuff coming out of this channel. Work really hard. So you should really check it out. I think you'd really like it. Getting a lot of great feedback from it. So hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell. And then if you're really enjoying the guests, if you're enjoying the information you're learning, hit that like button. Really, really huge if you could hit that like button for us. Would really mean a lot. But what is good, man? How's everyone doing? How's everyone's weekend? Shout out to all the early birds in the comments. I see you guys. I'll say what up to you guys in just a second. But you know how this show starts off. For the freshest and bestest rodents delivered to your doorstep, cold-blooded cafes, your jam, $30 flat rate shipping. Shout out to Desiree, shout out to Steven, shout out to the entire cold-blooded cafe team, consistently leading the industry for I don't know how many years now. I think at least like 5-6 years. Killing it though, man. Thank you guys so much for your support, and thank you so much for supplying the industry with the best rodents possible. You guys are amazing. Shout out to John and Alex over at Sim Container, my boys right here. Cannot wait to tap in with these guys in Tinley in a couple weeks. But guys, go check out Sim Containers. If you got eggs, put them inside of a Sim box. Thank me later. I'm telling you right now, less stress when using a Sim. If it's a Sim, it's a win all day, every day. Anything I've ever hatched was out of a Sim container. Well, that's a lie. First couple, before I even knew John and Alex, was just completely just Tupperware type shit. But I'm telling you right now, the Sim container stuff is where it's at. Proven fact. So thank you, John. Thank you, Alex. They also have amazing monitor program going on. Really dedicated to their monitors. I have a couple pair of Bell Phase lace monitors from them. So yeah, man, I'm telling you right now, my whole game is built off of Alex and John's monitor program. So huge mentors to me. They do a lot for me. So I appreciate them a lot. So go give them a follow on Instagram and check out their website. Get yourself a Sim container. And then shout out to Stephen and Ashley over at Focus Cube Habitats, Texas, all day, every day, PVC built enclosures. They just moved into a new big facility, newer big facility, and I'm excited for them. Lots of cool things coming out of this company, and I cannot wait to see what the future holds. I do know it's bright, and I do know it's going to be really successful for these two because they are just killing it, and cannot wait to get my Focus Cube Habitat enclosures in from them. I got quite a big order put in from them to them, so can't wait, man. No rush, guys. I know you guys are busy, but Can't wait to get those here. I'm not even joking, man. It's going to be awesome. So go give him a follow on Instagram. Check him out. Shout out to Jesse and the entire Freedom Breeder crew. Stainless steel Rex, built out of the United States. Professional level of snake breeding or rodent breeding, for sure. If you have Freedom Breeder Rex, you already know what the hell I'm coming at, man. This is best of the best right here. Go give them a follow on Instagram. Go check out their website. But that's when you really want to elevate stuff, man. If you go Freedom Breeders is the best you can get, in my opinion. So thank you, Jesse. I appreciate the support. Shout out to the whole entire Freedom Breeder crew, killing it, leading the industry as always. Big things. Shout out to my boy Miguel Garcia, always evolving pythons, always killing the game, always inspiring. It's my boy right here. If you're into ball pythons, check my boy out. Check out his Instagram. Check out his ball python projects on Morph Market. He has a lot of stuff going on, and he's one of the best YouTube hustlers in the game for sure. Always putting out exciting stuff on YouTube. So go give my boy a follow. Go fuck with my boy Miguel Garcia from Always Evolving Pythons. Shout out to Tina. Shout out to Jesse. Shout out to the entire AEP family. You guys are amazing. And I hope to see you guys soon, man. We got things on the agenda, hopefully, with AEP. So can't wait. Shout out to my boy Alan at Amazing Basins. He just shared some amazing information with me, and I'm super excited for him. Future looks great. So if you're out there interested in basins, if you want to know what these are all about, or if you already know what basins are all about, basically the Ferrari of snakes. So if you want to go check these out, go follow my man Alan. He's really dedicated, and he has, I don't want to say like he has them down, because nobody really has these snakes down, but he's been really good and successful with these basins. This year's looking really good for him. So go give him a follow on Instagram. If you want to get put on his wait list, or if you want to just get tapped into his program and what he's doing, then you're going to want to follow, or you're going to want to join his Patreon page 110%. So shout out to my boy Alan. Thank you for your support, man. And I'm really excited for your year, man. It's going to be great. Shout out to my boy Blake Stewart at SD Identity, which is Blake Stewart Designs, or excuse me, Stewart Design. And yeah, this guy is really taking the branding and people's brand to the next level. So if you guys are interested, if you're fully vested into the reptile game, or if you even have a company and you feel like the branding is lagging, then you could maybe hit up my boy Stewart Design, and he could probably do something for you. But come correct, because this guy helps only the biggest and the biggest. Justin Kabelka, Garrett Hartle, those are just a couple names to drop real quick. But yeah, shout out to my man Blake Stewart from Stewart Design. Go give him a follow on Instagram, and go hit up his website. Shout out to Rami and the Reptile Super Show. It's going to be going down soon this year at Anaheim, and another Pomona going down. So I cannot wait to link up with all my people at the Reptile Super Show. And then of course, in a couple weeks, like I mentioned earlier, NARBC, Bob Ashley, Brian Potter throwing Tinley going down. I cannot wait. This is going to be an amazing time. My last Tinley was honestly legendary, and I cannot wait to hopefully repeat that same kind of moment, man. But honestly, you guys, I hope you guys are going to Tinley. If you guys are, drop a comment. Let me know who's all going to be rolling to Tinley in a couple weeks. But I want to say appreciate the gentlemen who throw these shows right here, because if it wasn't for these shows, I wouldn't have half the connections that I have. And I'm telling you right now, man, if you really want to fucking link with people, you go to these shows, and that's when you talk to them face to face. It's cool having relationships, on your phone and, being Instagram homies, but that can only go so far. In my, some people only have relationships like that, and that's fine. But if you really want to get more out of what you're doing, go to a show, go to a Reptile Super Show, go to NARBC, and link up with the fucking people who've been doing this right and been doing it for a long time. So hopefully see you guys at Tinley. Cannot wait. Then a shout out to US Arc. Please, guys, help my boy Phil Goss help us fight for our animal rights. US Arc is it. Telling you right now, US Arc is the only one going and fighting our battles for us when it comes to these legislations and all these fucking twacks out there trying to take our animal rights and whatnot. Makes no sense. But Phil Goss is ready to fight. He's ready to rock and roll. So if you guys could do me a favor, if you're into this game, if you're heavily into keeping animals, you love them, then you're going to want to go down the link below, join US Arc, join all of us as we are trying to fight for our animal rights. And no big deal. If you cannot join, if you're not in a financial situation where you could donate or anything, well, then at least talk about it, be informative, let people know what US Arc is and what they're here to do for us. Okay, so I appreciate anyone who supports US Arc. You're a real one. Thanks for being on my team, our team. It's gonna be fucking. We're going out swinging. I can tell you that right now. So Shout out to everyone who goes live. Shout out to anyone who is continually helping us support and, spread the word on US Arc. Means a lot. If you guys have any information you want to give me, or if you want to see what I'm working with and whatnot, check me out on Instagram and mjexoticscartal with an A, not an E. And then also check out my podcast's Instagram, Trap Talk with MJ Podcast. Shout out to my Twitch viewers. I see the Twitch viewers going up. Respect. If you like to support this channel more than a subscription or a like, any super chat that you throw out will get donated straight to US Arc. So if you have any questions, my man Chris keeps a bunch of different shit. I'm telling you right now, this is gonna be an amazing, epic episode. So if you have questions out there for my man Chris, the only things I'm going to the doctor for it, but the only questions my eyes could read are live chat questions. If they're like super chats. Super chat questions are the only thing my eyes could read. So if you really have an important question, super chat it. My eyes could lock on it, and then I'll go ahead and chat that out, or I'll go ahead and shout that out. So, but yeah, man, much love. Appreciate all my Patreon members, to my day ones right there. If you want to be a part of an amazing community that's growing by the day, if you want to be more behind the scenes of what's going on with the podcast, if you want to get an invitation to Trap Fest 2022, well, then guess what? You're going to want to go down to the link below. You're going to want to join the Trap Talk Patreon family and see what it's all about. Shout out to my trappers out there. You guys are amazing. But seriously, my family's well over 100 now. We're growing by the day. As soon as you join the Patreon family, you get sent a link to the Discord, which taps you into everybody, man. Everyone's active 24/7. So many different channels, so many different things to talk about. So either way, go check it out. Link below. Join the family. I appreciate all my Patreon members. You guys are amazing. I fuck with you guys heavy. And yes, let's get rolling. What is good, though? What's up with all my early birds? Who's in the building? Damn, Norway in the building. What is good? OM Reptiles Norway in the building. What is good? Tyler King, Trap Talk family member all day, every day. What is good? Chantel, what's up, girl? Pacific Rim Serpents in the building. Cole, what is good? Cole, thanks for tapping in. Bods Exotics Reptiles, what is good, homie? Trap Talk family member all day. Jason Holbrook, Barbara J in the building. What is good, player? Trap family member all day, every day. What is good? Deviant Glass, Trap Talk family member all day. Sound Serpents, the homie Sean, Trap Talk family member all day. Kurtz Creatures, what is good, homie? Trap Talk family member all day. Nate Dog, what is good? Trap Talk family member all day. Julio, what is up, Julio? Trap Talk family member all day. Oh, Eric's More Factory. You had to ruin the flow, man. What is good, bro? I'm just kidding. What is good? Thanks for tapping in. Harry, the Mushroom Cowboy from Canada. What is good, buddy? Thanks for tapping in. Trap Talk family member all day. Right here, Calvin Garcia, head of security. Congratulations. This guy just made a heavy purchase. That's all I got to say. I'm not going to say what he purchased. It's not a fucking carton of chocolate milk or anything, but I'm telling you right now, this guy purchased something huge. Tap into my boy Calvin Garcia. What is good to the homie Gary right here, Out of Space Reptiles? Thanks for tapping in. Hannah Banana. Hannah, you know this guy Chris, huh? You told me that your cousin, your one of your best friends is cousin with this guy. That's what you told me. I don't know if you're just trying to get clout. I'm gonna ask him. So let's see if that's true, okay? But thank you, Hannah, for tapping in. Flex in Texas all day, and she's my Trap Talk Patreon family member all day. Triple G in the building. Zoo Dream family member all day. What is good? Kevin, what's up? Kevin Bateman, Forest Pythons in the building. Thanks for tapping in, bro. Trap Talk family member all day. Father Blue, what is good? Alex, what's up, Alex? This is my player right here. What's up, Alex? Thanks for tapping in. Hope to see you at Tinley, buddy. Good to see you, man. Good to see you in the chats. Cuddle Time Critters, what is good? The homegirl Lily, what is good? Thanks for tapping in, Lily. I appreciate you so much. Trap Talk family member all day. Rainy Day Reptiles, what is good? I hope you're pairing them up. T Rexy, woo, cool name. Thanks for tapping in. Wiz Constrictors, what is good? All right, we got the homie Matthew Summers. We're going to end it with Matthew Summers, my boy right here. Matthew Summers, MSR Reptiles, what is good? All right, guys, enough is enough. Thank you so much. I appreciate everyone who's spending their Sunday with me. I'm very excited to bring this guy on. Thought he was from Texas, but he's from Alabama. Not only that, I've been following this guy for at least a year now, and everything he's posted has been, I don't want to say suspect, but it's like, what the fuck? Does he really keep stuff like that? And I remember I even went, I'm not going to say the name, but I went to somebody and showed him some stuff he had for sale. And it was even the person who keeps a lot of stuff was like, I don't know if he didn't know who Chris was, but was like concerned. Is this even a real account? And I'm like, what? Like, it has to be real. He's real. Here he is. He's tapping in right now. It's my boy, Chris Murray from CM Exotics and Imports. What's up, Chris?
How's it going, man?
Alabama's born and raised, eh?
Wasn't born here, but I was raised here. Illinois native, moved here when I was about 5, so been here for a minute.
Chris, how you living, man? Thank you for being here. I appreciate it. But how's everything on your end? How's another day with the animals? I'm assuming, right?
Yep, feeding every day, man.
Can you kind of explain, not explain, but can you kind of tell us, how far back you've been working with imports and how long it's been a part of like your everyday life?
I mean, I've always had animals. My dad, he was into reptiles. He kept a lot of colubrids and like geckos. Started taking me down on herping trips. We used to go out west to the Chiricahuas out in Portal, Arizona, almost every year for a long time. Go collecting out there. Down to Central America a couple times, Costa Rica,
Wow.
a couple other odds and ends. And then I always just kind of had them. And then when I went to school down in Auburn, I had enough space to where I can kind of keep a little bit more of what I want. So I filled up the extra bedrooms in the condo with all sorts of critters. And I think in 2012, I started, officially importing and exporting. So
Wow.
at least a solid 10 years, I've been doing pretty heavy into the imports.
So your pops basically instilled this into you and you just kind of ran with it is what I'm kind of getting at right now, right?
Yeah, he's probably the one to blame for all this. So
Hey man, I'm not gonna say my dad's to blame for like, his passion maybe, but like, there's a lot that you could blame my dad for why I am the way I am. I can tell you that, bro. Like I'm a real spitting image of my dad, because that's me and my dad were like this. We were like best friends growing up. Did everything we did together, you know what I mean? So, but that's awesome. How do you remember? I mean, I'm just, Costa Rica is like a huge bucket list place for me to visit. Not only just to take my beautiful wife, but just to go herp and check it out. My boy, Quetzal Dwyer. You know who Quetzal Dwyer is by chance?
yeah, I know Quetzal pretty well.
Yeah, it's tight. So Quetzal, I've been, I was lucky to have him on the show about a year ago, and I know Ari really well, and I want to just go down there and check out his place and just be in Costa Rica and see what it's all about. So, I mean, how old were you like when you first went to Costa Rica?
I think I was probably about 14, 15, somewhere around there.
I mean, and you've obviously probably, and then when was the last time you've been to Costa Rica?
It's been a minute before I had kids, so over a decade ago. Between working and traveling for animal shows and everything else, it's hard to get away for the extracurriculars.
From what you know or from what you hear, what has changed the most in Costa Rica?
Well, I mean, since when? Since COVID? Since the last decade? What do you think?
Right.
What do you aim for? I don't know. It's harder to get stuff in and out of Costa Rica. I think imports and exports will eventually be eliminated from there, which we, for a long time, we're looking at trying to get some land down there, trying to set up a kind of a farm type deal. But just the logistics behind it and the money, it's just not really that feasible, especially if they ban importing and exporting, then kind of left with very few options,
Yeah, so I mean, like, as far as you getting stuff from Costa Rica, I mean, was that some of the first places you were importing, or where were you like mainly getting your shipments from when you were first starting?
My very first import was from my buddy Hendrik Elmenhorst. He's in Germany. He breeds primarily dwarf monitors. He's one of the smartest dwarf monitor keepers I could think of. He taught me a lot of what I know. I think his average success rate on a bad year is hatching maybe 200 or 300 monitors a year. Everything from Gilleneye, King Gorm, Glowered Eye, pretty much anything. More stuff than we have here. And I spent some time going over to his place, doing the Hom show a few times. Wow. And he pretty much got me set on my track to breeding monitors. And I imported from him for a long time until they will not let us bring in dwarf monitors anymore or anything Australian. About 4 years ago, I think.
Right. I mean, how much did that affect your business? You feel like when that happened, when that importation stopped?
I mean, it slowed things down a little bit. I ended up going back to school at one point about 4 years ago, I think, and that kind of took a toll on the animal and family side of things. Everything was just busy trying to get everything done all the time. I've got a few good friends that really help me out around here. But most of the time it's usually just me doing all this stuff by myself. So
I
it's
mean,
not a lot of time to do a lot of extra things, you know.
I'm curious, Chris, because you came in at a like, not a big level, but you were a young age coming in a grown man's type game, you know. So were people kind of like taking you serious in the beginning, or was it kind of hard to build a reputation for yourself when you first coming into this?
It wasn't too difficult. A couple friends of mine knew a lot of people that have been doing it for a long time, introduced me to them, so it kind of helped me get my foot in the door.
That's cool.
It's really just about getting out there, you know, just posting stuff online. At least at that time, didn't really get things done. I tried to make it a point to travel to every show that I could feasibly get to as consistently as I could. I've not been too big in the show circuit the last few years just because with school and my other job, it's been very time consuming. But up until that point, for probably a good 6-7 years, there wasn't really a show east of Tinley that I would miss pretty much year round. So that helped a lot, actually going there, putting your face out there, meeting people. John, I met him over at Sim Container probably about like 2 years into me importing stuff. And
What a guy.
he's a great guy. For the longest time, and still when I do attend the same shows, we usually try and set up close to or next to each other. He's a good guy, one of the best in the hobby, but he pointed me in a lot of good directions to kind of help me get my head straight to where I was trying to get.
You know, John's kind of the guy, you know, when you start really putting yourself out there, Chris, I'm sure you could agree with this, but when you start really going and meeting people who are really heavy about certain projects and you meet them, it's really hard to meet somebody who's like really good at their doing and then also a really good person too. Like you don't usually get that mix, you know, and John's like all around one of the best people I've ever met. And he's actually one of the best monitor keepers I've ever retained information from. And then Alex too, that duo right there is just like very dreamy. You know what I mean? So shout out to those two. But it's awesome that, you know, I start off the podcast, as you heard, shouting out the sponsors, and I'm very blessed and happy that I could sponsor or shout out, you know, this Reptile Super Show and NARBC, because dude, everything, you know, half the big reptile connections I have in my phone came because I met them in person, you know what I mean? If not more, you know, and I feel like if you're able to, or if you're just now coming into this and you feel like nobody knows you or you don't know nobody, well, then that's a bigger reason why you should get your ass to a big show. Because I mean, dude, I've met the most randomest people and ended up following them, actually building relationships because I just met them at a show. You know what I mean? And that's why I'm happy you mentioned that right now. It's huge.
It's all about marketing, man. You got to get out there, put yourself out there, and show them what you can do. You know?
So what are you going to school for right now, bro?
I'm not in school any longer, but I had gone back to school for become an X-ray technologist, but I work in a specialized department in cardiac cath lab. So anytime anyone's having a heart attack or any cardiac issues, they come up to see us. And we're one of the top 5 cath labs in the United States, so it's busy all the time.
Damn, respect. I mean, yeah, I'm sure that it could get busy and stressful. I can only imagine. How are you delegating? You know, well, first off, let me ask you this: how is the workload that you have currently with the animals, and how do you delegate that? Like, you know, does it fluctuate? Like, sometimes do you have a lot of animals, you know, more than the other week, or like, how's that usually working with you right now?
So typically, just my personal animals. I've probably got around 85, 90 animals, I think. And then the imports that I bring in, it's primarily from Indonesia. And my prices tend to be a little higher than some people's, but I'm handpicking out 40 or 50 animals per import. And most of them are captive bred by people that keep and breed animals over there. They're not just plucked straight out of the bush.
Right.
So smaller imports, I'm able to kind of get higher quality animals, and I also breed a number of species here and keep pretty diverse collection. But I'd say, at the low end, it's probably about 80 to 90 animals here at all times, and then you could add 50 to 100 depending on what the imports are looking like.
Awesome. So if we could kind of talk a little bit more, your personal animals, how many of those are reptiles and how many of those are mammals?
They're primarily reptiles. I've got dwarf monitors, the Ackies, King Gorm, Storai, Kimberleys. I've got lace monitors. I've got black throats, black dragons, Togianus, Doomerals monitors, Spinulosis, some sulfurs.
Damn.
Salvadora. I've got Croc monitors. I've got some Shinosaurus, the Chinese crocodile lizards. They're one of my favorites. I've got some radiated tortoises.
You got everything that matters.
Got a lot of animals. And I've got a binturong that's currently still in the bottle. That's awesome. She's one of the coolest animals I've been able to interact with. And I've got a pair of sloths, a pair of genets,
Oh my gosh.
ring-tailed cats, all sorts of stuff. We got crocodiles. We've got Nile crocodiles, Morlet's crocodiles. Hopefully next year we're going to have...
What were you feeding earlier before we got sound checked out of the way? What was it that you were feeding?
That was the binturong, also known as a bear cat. She's about 7 weeks old, and
oh my
one
god,
of the neatest animals I've been able to work with. She's very cool.
What's the temperament on that thing? Or I mean, have you had to work with her, or has she always been chill? What's it been like?
She's a baby. Like I said, she's only 7 weeks old, so
wow.
Right now is just eat and play. So she feeds about 5 times a day, about 40 to 60 mLs of formula, and she just roughhouses every time you're in between feedings. She just wants to play.
What are you feeding her?
It's kind of a puppy formula with some banana baby food in it, and we just started adding some baby cereal to it, so kind of thickens it up a little bit. Probably about a month and a half, she'll start on solid foods. Her teeth are just now starting to come in.
How many of those have you? Is this your first time working with one of those, or you kept them before?
My first time keeping binturongs, yeah, and they're one of the coolest animals. I think they smell like buttered popcorn. It's crazy. If you
butter what popcorn?
Buttered popcorn, yeah. Like that's.
I love buttered popcorn.
Look it up. If you don't believe me, look it up. Binturongs have something in the molecular structure of their fur that just gives off the same scent as buttered popcorn, and it's uncanny. It's pretty wild.
I mean, where did you acquire such a beautiful animal? I'm just curious.
Doing this for a long time, you just kind of tend to meet the people that breed all the cool stuff. So when
you ain't lying,
put some feelers out on things that you're possibly wanting in the future, as soon as they are able to be acquired, they'll hit you up.
I'm a huge believer. I'm a huge believer to where if things are meant to happen in certain things in this hobby, things just happen to land in your lap. It's funny how that works, but if it's meant to be, it's meant to be, man. And there's at the end of the day, here's what happened with me, Chris, because I got into this solely because of ball pythons, and I was very vested in wanting to become a ball python breeder, and I just saw like how there was no end in that. Like when I wanted to do that, this is before I discovered there was a million morphs and all this shit, right? And I was like, oh my god, this is crazy. I wanted to be more just, I don't know, on a different kind of path with what I wanted to do. So I got into chondros and everything else. Where was I going with that? God damn it. What were we talking to about? My mind just fucking rambled somewhere right now. I'm so pissed.
Just the right things falling into your lap at the right time.
Oh yeah. Okay. So anyways, I mean, I don't know. This happens at least once a show. I'm sorry, bro.
You're good, man.
Anyways, but I mean, I've always preached on this show how don't fucking force things to happen. If there's that's not where I was going. I'm an idiot. So when I got into the ball pythons, I was like, man, I discovered chondros, and then I discovered white lips, and I just really was like, I didn't know that you could get stuff like that. You know what I mean? And then it just so happens that I was getting like certain stuff I was really passionate about. Like I was working things out and getting some of the best that I feel like I could find that turned out to be the most thriving, and they're doing great now. And, my luck happened to work out like that. And I'm just a huge believer that you could find what you want if it's meant to happen. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I also feel though, just because you could get it and just because you have the money, not everyone's meant to keep certain things. That's for sure. Like there are just people that aren't capable of keeping like certain species of reptiles, certain mammals. That's for damn sure. Not everyone are dog people, but they keep dogs. I've met some terrible dog owners. You know what I mean? And I'm just like, what the fuck? Like, how do you own the animal? And they just, let people, anyone can own an animal and anyone can neglect it. That's why I can't stand. But it's also why I love animals so much too. You know what I mean? I kind of take this pretty seriously. I don't really, because you got to, and let's be honest, Chris, you've been in this for a long time. So I'm sure you've seen certain people's like practices and keeps, especially from back in the day, that really weren't the best way of doing it, right? I mean, I know we've evolved a lot, but I'm sure you've probably seen some horrendous type shit coming up in this industry. Am I right?
Yeah, I mean, every year that they try and push for more and more legislation, kind of brings more of the negative stuff out into the limelight, and I think that the advancement in the way we keep things and the way we're able to share knowledge on a easier basis, it'll help us more than anything. That's another reason that I do smaller imports is I myself cannot take care of 300 animals, 400 animals. I mean,
Right.
I've got my own limits, my kids, one of my sons, he's getting old enough to where he could actually come and help me a little bit, but some of the stuff he can't handle. It's not safe for him too, at least not yet. And it's just time, so my kind of business outlook, I don't make a living off of the animal stuff. I mean, it's just a labor of love, and it's a very time consuming hobby, but I love it. I couldn't imagine not having all these animals. I guess kind of my goal is to, I grew up, I was fascinated with all this stuff, and my dad, he did what he could to expose me to as much of it as he was able to, but kind of my outlook is if I could get some of the coolest stuff that most people never even see unless it's on TV. I could raise my kids around it. They could have those experiences, and if they really want to go into the animal stuff as they get older, it's an option for them. If not, then how many fourth graders can tell their class they got a baby bear cat or a sloth for a pet?
I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like, I feel like the win-win is like, even if your child decides not to want to work with animals, like the whole knowledge they have knowing about an animal throughout their whole life is like more than any elementary school could ever give them, you know what I mean? Like, or anything like that. So, I mean, yeah, I think that's awesome. Now, what are you doing as far as like, what's your typical import shipment look like nowadays? Like, how often are you getting stuff in?
Typically, it just depends on the time of year. Winter time, like November, December, I don't really like bringing anything in because of the transit times and the cold weather that they got to deal with. It's not really good for the animals to be in a box that long and really cold temperatures. So I don't really do much for November, December. The earliest I'll bring an import in is probably January, February, and it all depends on the weather. Other than that, probably every 2 to 4 months after that, 2 to 3 months, and then we'll bring in, so probably average 50 to 100 animals. Just kind of depends on what's available. So.
I mean, I've worked with plenty of imports, man. I mean, obviously nowhere near as much as you. I'm respect. But I'm just saying, like, I know my protocol when taking an import in. I have my quarantine and whatnot. So, how are you quarantining these animals, and how are you establishing them, or are you, and then or do you just kind of like get them in and sell them? Like, how long are you sitting on these animals before you actually post them up and sell them? And then if you could explain like how your quarantine process is.
So I've got 2 buildings right now. One's about 2,500 square feet. The other is probably about 600 square feet. The smaller one used to be purely for the imports. Been having to do a little rearranging right now. There's about a 1,200 square foot addition on the side of the building that we've been working on, and that's ultimately going to be where the imports go. But I usually keep all the import stuff away from my personal collection, and then I treat everything upon arrival when we soak them, and then I don't sell anything until everything's eaten, gone to the bathroom, it's doing well. So if it comes in looking bad, then I either keep it till it looks like a strong, healthy animal, or it just stays with me forever. So pretty stringent on what I do send out of here. Don't do me any good to sell someone an animal that's skinny or not eating well or having problems. It doesn't do them any good to waste their money and time.
So I do know, I'm very passionate and invested in emeralds and chondros, and I will say, like, my biggest foundation is built primarily off imports, and I've been, like I said, lucky enough to establish some really beautiful adults, and they're chilling. A couple are breeding right now and whatnot, but with emeralds, right? Like, like for instance, I haven't picked up an import in like almost 2 years, and I on this podcast, I've been telling people I'm done. I'm not fucking, why do I need to buy another import? I'm good right now. Like, everything's good, Sure enough, I go to Arlington and I fucking see the biggest goddamn northern emerald tree boa that this thing was just gigantic. And I was like, I inspected it. I saw the head, looked at the guy was nice enough to let me open up the mouth and just see what it looked like in there. And healthy, fucking beautiful animal. You know what I mean? So I bought it. I fucking bought the thing, and it's in my washroom. It's hasn't shown that one sign of hunger or anything, but I'm also, because how big it looks, and there's not one mite on it. It's not like there's no like weird fatty deposits anywhere. It looks like a healthy, good animal. But I have some of my well-experienced keepers who've taken an import to tell me, like, hey man, you should get a meal on that thing as soon as possible. But then I'm just kind of like, I hate having put stress when not needed. So where do you sit with that? Like, as far as if anyone were to buy an import from a show, right? And not from you, just like, you buy an import at a show, how soon should you want to get food into that import, you feel like?
I think it depends on the body language of the animal, really. Right. Like, even when I get imports in, or even when stuff hatches, like I hatched out some lace monitors back in January. And
congratulations, by the way.
Thank you. It was very exciting. Been working on that for a while.
Huge.
The first one that hatched out, typically you don't need to feed them within a few days or whatever of coming out of the egg. But I just, by reading her body language, thought I would try and feed her a frozen thawed binky. And within 24 hours of her being out of the egg, she was tongue feeding, crawling on my hands, just cool as a cucumber. The other ones that hatched out, gosh, it's been almost 2 months now, and they still won't eat directly from me. They don't even sit out when I walk into the building. So, I mean, it's all kind of about reading the animal's body language and seeing if they're ready to eat. If they aren't, and you're just poking at them, whopping them in the nose with a mouse or whatever, a lot of times it's just going to stress them out, kind of piss them off. If you could try some of the tricks, that'll get stuff going, and they show a little bit of interest, maybe poke a little bit further, but once the animal turns its head away and kind of tries to get away from you, that's probably as far as you need to go.
And that's what I figured too. That's why I appreciate the advice I get from the my bigger homies and my mentors all the time. Because they're only talking from their own experience and whatnot. But I'm also going off my own gut feeling and based off what I see. I carefully look at this snake, and I've taken in emeralds that were fucking just not, like, literally on their deathbed, and I've seen emeralds go from perfectly in good condition to crashing, and I know what that looks like, and it's been a little over 2 weeks. I know she's drinking water. I'm fucking, I just like I'm not stressing it. You know what I mean? She looks beautiful. I'm just letting her do her thing. I'm not fucking with her at all, and I'm even noticing she barely even moves. Like, I'll come in at like 1 a.m. just because I'm naturally just built to wake up and just go look in my room, and I'll see her and she'll be stretched out, like drinking water, but she's never fully moved off the perch. Like, she just is there. So I'm let her do her fucking thing, and I feel like there should no, I feel like a protocol should be based off the situation of the snake. I feel like not every snake should be doused with meds. Every snake should be fucking fed right off the bat. I feel like it really based off how it looks. Other than, I feel like it's your situation where the snake came in straight from Indo or straight from the source. But let me ask you this: what are you really, if you have an emerald or a chondro or whatever that you come in and you feel like there's parasites or something going on with it, what are you using to treat that animal?
I typically hit everything with panicure and flagell, just right off the boat. Some of the
Both?
captive bred stuff.
Both or one?
It just depends, man. It's all situational.
Okay.
But,
sometimes you do. Sometimes you would need to use both.
I'll stagger them usually. So
Okay.
It just depends on how it comes in. But sometimes you don't. It's almost better not to do anything depending on the animal. If you completely wipe out the gut load, like baby water monitors in particular, like fresh out of the egg, just started eating. If you hit them with a bunch of stuff right when they come in and you totally destroy that gut flora that they've developed, a lot of times you can just wipe them all out within a matter of weeks.
Wow.
Which is unfortunate. It's just something. It's a learning curve,
Yeah.
Got it down to pretty good science so far, but you just sometimes removing it does more harm than good. So you got to kind of see what the situation looks like.
I was always curious about this, but what different effects does flagell have than panicure? Like, or do they work similar, like to the same? Like, what are the differences in the two?
One's more of a dewormer, the other kind of affects more the microbial stuff.
Okay.
I can give you a more in-depth analysis at a later time, but I'm pretty tired. So I was trying to keep it straightforward.
No, you're good. You're good. You're good. I'm just always curious because I've had people, recommend both, and I was just, I never really got the breakdown on what the difference is with both. But I guess it makes sense because the panicure is basically used for horses for dewormers, so
yeah,
that makes sense. All right, man. Real quick, so let's talk about your success with the lace monitors as far as like how long you waited on this project. I mean, the animals that actually bred for you, how long have you had those animals for?
I've been working on it for about 6 years now, I think, and I got my first clutch about 3 years ago. Raised them from babies, and eggs were perfect. Had them incubating for about 220 days, I think, and we're out of town for a weekend in December. And we had our HVAC go out on our house, which is where the incubator was at the time.
Damn.
And in the process, something happened to where my thermostat shorted out, and the incubator was like maybe 50 degrees when I got home. And I had lace monitors, Ackies, Kingorum, all sorts of stuff in there. So all that was gone, fully developed in the egg. Died at about 220 days, and then my female just did not seem to like nesting. It's one of the harder things when you breed these larger animals, is trying to figure out which nesting preferences, which ones like. And I'd gone through probably every possible nest box idea you could think of for about 2 years. I got nothing but infertile eggs, or she scattered them, didn't quite nest them right, and then finally figured it out to where she nests and lays the eggs perfectly. So it's just a trial and error sort of thing. Just got to pay attention to the animals.
I mean, the nest box I feel like is the most crucial thing, that has to be dialed in, because it's important for a female to be comfortable where to lay, because if not, she'll either lay them anywhere or she'll just retain them, or just fucking hold on to them, which isn't good. So, I mean, let's kind of dip in a little bit about your nest boxing. Like, what have you changed, or what is it that you're doing that you feel is the most effective, that's helping, your laces breed, or, help your lace lay?
So my building's totally climate controlled. I've got a 3-ton HVAC unit on there, so it stays about 82 to 85 degrees ambient temperatures. I will drop them down to like upper 60s for a couple months in the wintertime. I'll eliminate food, just make sure they have fresh water, and shorten their photo period. So kind of mimics winter a little better. And then crank them back up in the springtime. Feed them pretty much every day, something small, just so it's consistent and kind of triggers the female to start cycling. And after that happens, the male will start bobbing his head, and you get a walk before too long, and then they'll start nesting after that. And I use these commander totes. You can get them from Home Depot. It's those black totes with the yellow lids.
Yeah,
Everyone
that's what
in the hobby knows what those are.
yeah. Okay.
But I double layer the base on those, and I'll put a heat pad set to a thermostat on like 85 degrees, and used compressed cocoa fiber to fill it in. And I had a lid on there with a hole just big enough for the female to get in and out of. But either way, the male always found a way to get back in there, and he would just use it as a hide. So I just removed the top one day, and so it's just an open top bin, and she lays in there every time now. She just goes straight down. So sometimes, if you aren't paying attention, you're leaving the male in there, and don't pull him out. If he's anywhere kind of poking around the nest box or whatever, he'll kind of veer her away from being able to use it.
Okay. No, the compressed cocoa it's just the cocoa. Is it like the dirt? Like what kind of substrate is it? If you could just, what kind of cocoa?
It's really fine stuff. It's,
okay, they're real fine. And it's just that, or do you put sand in it as well, or like what is it? Just the dirt?
So for the dwarf monitors, I'll put some sand in there. For these guys, I just do the straight cocoa.
Okay, and then how wet is yours? Like how damped, or I mean, like I know you don't want to oversaturate it, obviously. So how wet are you getting this actual cocoa substrate?
I mean, I'll get it damp enough to where if you squeeze a handful of it, it doesn't quite run, but it kind of clumps together. But depending on how soon I think she'll lay, if I think she's a month off, I might make it a little more damp, just because with evaporation, I don't want to have to pay as close attention to it drying out. So I mean, like a little runny to just where it clumps together right when you squeeze it. If you could drive your hand in there and it kind of makes a tunnel, then it should be okay. You just don't want it to get too dry, otherwise it's like sand. It just kind of falls apart.
Yeah,
but you also get compacted down really well too. So I'll get like a cinder block, just stand on it, and I'm 220 pounds, so it'll compress it really well. So
the compacting, that's what I need to do. I'm not doing that at all.
Makes a difference, man. I mean, think about it. What works better, to dig a tunnel in, loose, dry sand on the beach, or the sand that is right next to where the water's hitting? Yeah.
Dude, fuck yeah. So definitely compact the shit out of it. All right, cool. Awesome. Yeah, I mean, because I don't know, I got success from my green tree monitors this year. My girl laid me her first clutch, and the thing was, she didn't lay him in her nest box, but I know why, because she knocked her water dish in it, the holes too. A lot of reasons why she didn't lay in the nest box, but I feel like right now the problem is it's too dry. No matter how much I'm spraying it, no matter how much I'm putting water in it, it just in a couple days it just goes back to it being really dry. But it makes sense because it's not compacted, like it's just in there. You know what I mean? Like I didn't fucking press it down and then add more dirt. Because how high do you go? Like as far as the level of dirt?
All the way to the top.
All the way to the top. Okay. And then the hole, like you said, is real minimal, like where she could barely go in and out, basically.
Yeah.
And do you have that hole, like, as far as on the lid, is it in the corner, in the middle? Where do you have that hole at?
It's just in one of the corners.
Wherever.
Yeah. I try and set it to where the nest boxes are kind of close to the door. So if it's on the door side, when she digs, she'll dig about a gallon of dirt onto the ground outside the hallway. So I usually just put it on the other end. There's not really science to it. I will try and do it opposite of what the nest, or not the nest, the heap head is. So when she's digging in, if you think about it, they're going to be facing the direction that has more real estate to dig in. So I usually put the heap pad on that side. So yeah, she'll kind of get down to where she's going. She can turn around and get in and out of that hole when she needs to.
Awesome. So to go back to the you heat that nest box, you said, right? You have like a third, like you said, there's a, like, where do you have the heat? Is it the side? Is where do you actually keep the heat at?
So like I said, I've got 2 of those totes, and one of them is just to have a separate divider from the heat pad and the actual dirt and water and stuff. So
okay,
you put the one tub down, you put the heat pad in there, put the other tub in it, fill it up with dirt. And then I've got like a Spider Robotics thermostat that all that shit's plugged into. So.
So they're stacked on top of each other.
Yeah. I just don't like the idea of introducing wet dirt to electricity. So try and separate it best I can.
And then again, the wet stuff's on the bottom, right? You have the wetter stuff on the bottom and more the drier stuff on top.
Yeah.
Okay. Wow. That's awesome. That's very neat, bro. I didn't know about that. That makes all. So let's talk about the size of your enclosures for the laces. How big is the enclosure that you have them in, and how are you working about separating the male when needed and whatnot?
So I've got them side by side. I've just got one pair here now. John and Alex have another female of mine. But they're each in a 6x8x8 walk-in enclosure. Each one's got a pond, basking ledges, a bunch of cork tubes. The male's pretty easy to work with, so I usually don't like to move the female out of her cage because I want to keep her kind of in her comfort zone, I guess. So
right.
When I introduce the male, I'll just pluck him out and stick him in there, let him do his thing, and then pull him when she's tired of him. I am actually going to modify it for the Salvadori, though. I'm going to put kind of a sliding dog door type door in between their enclosures, so
right.
I've got to actually put hands on them because they stress out a lot easier than most other animals do.
Yeah, the John gave me the idea because, like I was talking earlier, I've been going through John and Alex for, my monitor mentorship for like the last 2 years. And, I have these builds I want to do for the laces, and John's like, because my overall goal is to have a trio, right? I want 1 male and 2 females. So he's like, have the male in the middle, have a female on each side, and then have your doors, so all you have to do is fucking slide that motherfucker open whenever you needs to go. And then, like you said, the lady basically kicks him out when she's over it, or, whatever. And then he just let him on back in and go to the next one. You know what I mean? And that's basically
the best way to do it.
Yeah, because the whole, like you said, having not to have to put your hands on them, not having them to like, stress them out, because that could fuck up their whole mood. You know what I mean? Just touching them. How are you looking for signs? Like, for instance, like if you notice the male's not wanting to get out, but he should get out, what is the female really doing to let you know like she's over it?
Typically when they're cohabitating well, they're just next to each other all the time. Female's relaxed. She's ready to eat at pretty much any given time. A lot of times the male can become kind of overly aggressive, and the female will kind of get tired of them. It's almost like human relationships, and then you just kind of need your female typically hangs out like in the opposite corner,
right
up close to the ceiling when she's tired of the male. And
okay.
Yeah, I mean, usually after they hook up, they'll do it for about 2 or 3 days, and then it's really all. You could probably just pull them at that point. Just keep feeding the female so she cycles and keeps feeding those follicles, and then pull his ass out of there. Yeah.
And so for the most part, the male's on his own unless he's in there smashing. Like the only time he's in there is to get the job done, and then he's out living his own life by himself. They're not cohabiting, is what you're saying.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay. Okay. And your laces, are they, I mean, right now, since you kind of have the ball rolling here, are they giving you 2 clutches a year, or what's it looking like? How's it looking as far as recycling goes?
So the clutch that hatched out recently was the last one that I got, and I just warmed them up this past month. So I'm starting to feed them heavy, trying to get them back into gear. So maybe we'll see some action in the next few weeks, and we'll go from there.
Now, you mentioned earlier, as far as like once springtime comes around and you kind of get them going again, feed them every day. What are you feeding them?
I do a lot of quail and chicken. Got a commercial grade meat grinder, so I grind up about 20 pounds of chicken a week, I think. And then my buddy Adam Slayton, he is a local guy. He breeds a bunch of quail, and
Cool.
I get about 400 quail from him every month, and I'm supposed to pick some tomorrow, I think, actually.
Right.
But button quail, adult quail, fertilized quail eggs make up a big part of their diet, and then I'll do chicken gizzards, chicken hearts, ground up whole chicken with the bone and everything in it. It's a lot of what I do, really. I do some rodents, not really heavy on mice or rats or anything like that. I just think the birds are more lean, healthier protein, less fat, less calories.
So if you can, preferably stick to chicken or ground turkey or that source of meat versus giving a rat or a mouse every week or something.
I think so, yeah. They're kind of expensive, but if you get like a decent grade meat grinder, and you can grind up like the actual bone and all the skin and everything inside of it, that I think is more beneficial as opposed to just buying like pre-ground store-bought stuff.
So you mean buy like one of those whole chickens like that are uncooked and throw that motherfucker in that grinder and just feed it? That is what you're saying?
Yeah, pretty much, yeah.
How much are those meat grinders? I'm curious. Dude, that must be a gnarly job to do. That shit must smell, bro.
Yeah, it's pretty time consuming, man. I've got a pretty decent one.
Ooh, $600?
$500 or $600, yeah, right about.
Oh my god, this thing looks like pretty horrific.
But see, the time that I took to take chicken the old way, chop it up into bite-sized pieces,
right,
figure out what's going to where. I could grind up 20 pounds of chicken, feed everything that needs to eat it, and clean it out, have it ready for next time in the same time that it would take me just to prep the chicken, doing it the old-fashioned way. So time is money. It kind of depends on how you look at it, I guess. But I was pretty frustrated with myself for not doing that a long time ago.
Now, real quick before we get off the subject of laces, I gotta ask you, with your projects, like you have bell phases and you have normals, right? Is your pair one bell, one normals, or what was your pairing?
So I've got a male bells and I've got 2 normal females.
Okay.
I used to have a lot more. I had
Right.
the hardest time trying to find a male. I think at one point, maybe 5 years ago, I think I had like 9 females at one time.
Okay.
And couldn't find a male. So I've kind of just gone through, kind of picked out my favorites and just been working with them.
Because right now you said you hatched out 3, or how many did you hatch out? I can't remember.
There were 3 that hatched out this last clutch.
Okay. And one of them you said is doing great off forceps. The other 2 want nothing to do with you, right?
I mean, they're doing great. They're thriving. They're just not personable at all. They don't care to do anything with any human that walks in there, but they'll eat whatever you put in there every single day. Yeah.
Now, what are you looking to hold back from that? Just out of curiosity. So everything, like, what are you hoping is a male, or what's a female, or what are you looking to do out of those 3?
I really hope the 2 normals are a pair. I love the bells. There's always just something about the bells that everybody loves, but personally, I really like the. It's hard to be a really good-looking normal,
Every monitor guy says that. I swear to God. Like, obviously, if you're talking to somebody who's just on the outside looking in, they're gonna love the bells, right? But if you're like into monitors. I don't know. And I get it too. Like I have a pair of bells. I love them. I love Mac Drain House, but you understand how bad I want a normal. Like just to to sweeten up what I have, you know what I mean? And the dark stuff's my jam. No matter what the reptile is, I love anything that's dark. And they have those tiger phases or what, those fucking tiger stripe looking normals that I'm obsessed with. I think John's working with something like that right now. But I don't know, the normals, bro, another level. I can't even. I'm hoping I get my hands on one someday.
Yeah, they're awesome, man. It's hard to beat those bands. I'll have to send you some updated photos of my superstar over here. He looks good.
Hell yeah. All right, bro. Listen, I have a wrap-up question for you before we get into some hot seat questions, and I'll let you enjoy the rest of your night, okay? I got to ask, monitors is just like, I'm pretty well tapped into the ball python game and the snake game, and I could tell you that game is growing rapidly, really, really big, and I'm seeing firsthand how many people who get into the ball python game want to get into monitors, want to get into the lizards and whatnot. But what's your recommendation for anyone who's trying to take that venture from keeping snakes and getting into, let's just say, like a big species of monitors, like either a croc, a lace, Asian water, like whatever, but more the bigger species of monitors? What would be your recommendation for anyone out there like that?
If you want to keep large monitors, don't plan on making a whole bunch of money off of it. Sure, when you breed them, if you're able to, you get a little bit of a reward, a little bit of a kickback, but the work, the time, the effort, if you're wanting to do it to enjoy the animal, then go for it. But if you're wanting to do it trying to just make some extra money or whatever, it's not worth the time. The size of the enclosure, the expense that goes along with it, the amount of food that you have to feed them.
Yeah.
I've got about 20 croc monitors alone right now, and they eat so much food. It's a lot. So it's not. So if you're wanting to do it for monetary purposes, it's not really a feasible way to go about it. But if you're wanting to do it just because you want a badass dinosaur as a pet, then yeah, go for it.
Wait, 20 croc monitors? How many of those are adults?
What do you consider an adult?
Anything over a year.
So I've got, let's see, about 6 that are, from baby age to about 12-inch snout to vent, about a year old, and then I've got the rest range from like 5 feet to maybe 9 feet. Maybe that's my biggest one.
Can we talk a little bit more about crocs? Do you mind? Just a little bit.
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Sorry. I fucking completely just. All right. So the croc monitors, man, I'm so curious. You're obviously working with both different laces and croc monitors. In your opinion, which one is the more easier one to work with or the more feasible one to work with based off what you could experience?
So croc monitors, they're not an animal for anybody inexperienced to mess with. The dentition that they have and the bite force that they can apply, just the design of their teeth are like nothing else that's out there. I mean, it's a one-of-a-kind animal, closest thing you can get to a dinosaur. Welding gloves, if I'm messing with some that are not easy to work with, I'll still put them on, but they won't stop a bite. They'll make it less bad, but if they grab you, you're gonna get hurt. And they're probably one of the most intelligent baronids that I've ever worked with. I mean, they'll watch you and they remember. So if you have to, like I said, I try to be kind of hands off on a lot of stuff, but if for whatever reason you have to grab one, it's going to take you 6 months to build that animal's trust back. And they've got the size and the potential to do some serious damage. I mean, a bite from even a baby croc, it'll give you stitches. A bite from anything 4, 5, 6+ feet could be a life-changing event. They could tear through tendons, muscle, bone. Yeah, maybe not bone, but they'll mess you up pretty good.
You can lose a lot.
Yeah.
Oh my God, bro. I mean, and you know, the babies you have, these are what did you produce these, or these come in from across seas? Where did you get all these?
I didn't produce these. I've got one clutch, a Croc monitors incubating right now, but it was a Partho clutch. I'm
Right.
not too hopeful about it. But my buddy Harvey Lee over at NLI Project over in Indo, he bred
Nice.
these. They were born back in July, I think, and
Wow.
he did a fantastic job. I mean, straight out of the bag from Indo, which is kind of a long, stressful flight. These things just plopped up onto your arm and just wanted to go exploring, check things out, and they're still like that. You know, if you go over to their enclosure and open it up and let them kind of get out of that feeding response mood, they just want to go exploring. So,
What size enclosures do you have the baby Croc monitors in? I'm just curious.
pretty much all my import enclosures are either 3x18x18s, 4x2x2s, or 6x2x2s. So they're in the 4x2x2s right now.
4 feet across, 2 feet tall.
Yeah,
Right.
2 feet.
And are they all housed together since they're babies, or are they individual?
It depends. They're similar in size. I might put a couple of them together. If one seems to grow a lot quicker than the others, I'll separate them out. But they usually don't stick around too long. So once they're established and ready to go, they're actually all sold. All the ones that I have right now. We're just waiting for a good shipping day. FedEx has been horrendous. So I'm trying to get everything out Delta and just trying to find a time to do it. Yeah, I got one day off during the week, so my customers are usually people I've been working with a long time.
Right.
I really don't advertise that much anymore when I bring stuff in. I just known enough people to send them a list when I get stuff, and trying to change that as I try and get back into this a little more. But
Nice.
yeah, I don't know. Sells
Will you
fast.
will you be more active then on your Instagram, or like where can people see the stuff that you will start posting at? Like where would that be more active at?
Instagram's probably the best place right now because different kind of policies Facebook's put into place. That used to be a big source of advertising. I used to
Right.
use Fauna and some of the other websites quite a bit, but
Right.
they made it a little more difficult when they restricted the selling of any animals or whatever. So Instagram's probably my main outlet for posting pictures on a regular basis.
All right. So obviously we were talking about the Croc monitors. I'm assuming this is one of the babies, right?
Yeah.
What's the age on this one?
They were born in July of last year, so about 7-8 months.
And are most of these sexed, or do you not really know the sex of the younger ones? How is that looking right now?
I can give you an educated guess, but anybody that tells you they could 100% sex any young or baby monitor is not telling you the truth. If you have clutch mates, if you have animals that are around the same age, growing around the same rate, you can compare stuff like head, snout structure, tail base, stuff like that, and kind of get an educated guess about it. But as far as tried and true, scientific 100%, it's not very realistic. So I'm very upfront with my customers. I mean, I'm a very easygoing, straightforward kind of guy. So I want least amount of drama in my life as possible. So I try and do my best to make sure that what they think they're getting is exactly what they're getting.
Now, I mean, I know you can't predict the future on these babies, bro, but I mean, based off what you're seeing, based off what the establishment you're experiencing with these, do you feel like some of these will be docile as adults if they're put in the right hands of the right person and they keep up this interaction? Or do you feel like you're not too sure and that these things could always be that fucking wild type and just take your head off? What do you think?
Well, I mean, as well as I do, it's an animal, so it could always have a feeding response moment or have a wild hair up its ass. But like, especially these 3 that came in on the last one, they're probably some of the nicer ones I've gotten in a long time. And if I didn't spent a lot of money on construction and some of these other animals recently, I probably would have kept both those small crocs myself. I have no doubt in my mind that if you spend a little bit of time out of your day, you know, once a day, once every other day, those things will be nothing but awesome, large representatives of that species. But you just got to be smart about how you handle them, know your limitations. It's one animal you don't want to have a false sense of confidence with, and
Right.
you need to be able to kind of read their body language, try and figure out if they're curious or hungry or defensive. I've had probably over 500 croc monitors over the last 10 years, and it's just something you kind of pick up on after a while. You just got to pay attention. You just can't blindly stick your hand in there or grab them or do something that you think would be okay, but there's very little room for error with those guys,
How are you, like, when it comes to you working with a croc monitor, right? Like, what's your like, I mean, are you somebody who slowly reaches their hand underneath the chin? Like, how do you get it to like where it's comfortable almost next to you or touching you? Like, what's some of your like steps that you take doing that?
I mean, it depends on what kind of animal that you're talking about. If it's one of my personal animals that I'm keeping, it all starts with tongue feeding and just being present in the enclosure. So my cages are big enough. I can walk in there and just sit down with them, and I can feed them. I can hang out with them and just observe their behavior and let them get familiar with me. My biggest one, like I said, is about 9 feet. I've had him for about 3 years now. And when I first brought him in, wouldn't want anything to do with anybody. Wouldn't even eat if there was somebody present in the building. After about 6 months of working with him, he started to tongue feed from me. And like I said, we're a few years into it now, and he's comfortable enough to where he will come up to me at the front of the cage to tongue feed. I'll kind of, pet him a little bit if the opportunity's right, but I've not attempted to pick him up or mess with him. So it's kind of about reading the room, You just don't want to move too fast, and if you end up grabbing them in the wrong spot or the wrong way, and they freak out, they can mess you up, and then it's going to kind of set you a couple steps back. But typically the best approach to something like that is to let them come up to you, be comfortable around you, just being there. And that's it, man. Just keep them fed and spend some time with them,
What kind of behavior would you call this? Because I mean, it kind of explained Mac Dre and Alice, the Bells pair that I have from John and Alex. So these two, same dad, different mom, right? So Mac Dre is probably 4 weeks older than Alice. And what would you say? Because Mac Dre is very, like, he loves his food, man. The guy's fucking, like, he's like not the one to come on you, want to be on you, but he'll come and want to eat food. Alice will come on out. She's very social, will go all over you. Like, she's so locked in on like loving me around people. Mac Dre, on the other hand, he's like, I'll come like to the close of the enclosure, but don't fucking touch me. That's just how he is, right? Until I started luring him out with food. I started like getting him out with food. But when he comes out, he's so like tripping out on the room that he doesn't even want to eat. Like, he just like doesn't care about eating. What do you think that is?
It's just overstimulation.
Right.
They get used to their environment. They get used to their daily routines and activities. And then
Now they're
you
like,
bring them out. It's like taking your dog to the dog park, or taking the windows down. They start picking up all those new scents, and it's kind of a mind fuck, So it's just a lot to take in.
I have these enclosures. So I have big beadeds on the lower part of my room. So, and they're like, I have one in an 8x3, another in like a 4x2. So instantly, bro, he goes to them and starts scratching on the glass. For whatever reason, he wants to go inside their enclosures really, really bad. And I just, like you, I observe him. I let him come out, and like literally for like an hour, I'll watch him just roam my room, and I'll just see what he wants to do. I'll let him get into shit, and I'll be careful, obviously, but like this guy will spend 20 minutes scratching at the beaded lizard's glass trying to get in, and I'm just trying to figure out why. And I'm just like, damn, this fool, I'll have food right there, and like, he'll have like one meal, he'll have like one bite, and then the rest he's just like, oh my god, what is going on? And like, he's so like and what's cool about it is like he's so like tripping out, like where I could actually pick him up finally, like he's trying to get away from me, but like he's so like busy. I'm thinking elsewhere where I could literally go underneath him and just pick him up, and it's like holy shit, like I can't believe I'm holding this guy now, And it's a trip, man. They're so smart.
I mean, they're smart, man, and that could be a number of different reasons. It could be food oriented, could be a prey drive thing, could be like a pheromone type thing. If you look at the base of them, Varanus, Heloderma, Lanthanotus, they're all different, but they're all very similar on the same kind of spectrum. So the could be some sort of attractant through there, but I don't know. I can't keep Heloderma in Alabama, unfortunately. That's one of my favorite lizards, but we've got some silly laws, so can't have it all.
Can't keep them all, bro. Sorry, Chris. You do have some amazing shit, so let's just not complain here, okay?
Try not to.
Okay, for sure. Wrap up question right here. I promise. Okay, and I will. The only reason why I'm bringing this up now because it just dawned on me that I do have 2 bell phase lace monitors cohabiting together, confirmed male and female at this point. Mac Dre is over a year at this point. Alice is approaching a year. They eat great. I don't really see any stress or anything, but at what point do you feel like I should consider, separating Mac Dre or, just being on top of that? Like when do you feel like that should come into play as far as age wise with these?
So a lot of times, females, they'll take a year and a half, 2 years to get to breeding age and size. Age is never really 100% a solid factor you can go by. The animal is like 16 to 18 inches snout to vent, has good body weight on them. They're probably big enough to breed, and they won't really weight on you. So when you're female, even if you have them separated, if your female gets to about that size, you want to have a nest box in there just in case she does cycle. And I don't know, them holding on to eggs is always a potential problem. So
right,
if she goes through a cycle and you don't have something already ready for her, then that could create some problems potentially. Because if you add it after the fact, she may not have any interest in it because she's unfamiliar with it. It's something new. So probably around that time. If you're keeping them together, raising them up, you'll probably be seeing some breeding activity once the female gets about that size. Males don't take quite as long to mature. But when you start seeing them do that kind of stuff, that's when you need to have an extra cage open to pull him out in case she tries to lay a clutch or something.
So you're telling me to get an extra cage and
I will tell you, whether you're breeding ball pythons or Croc monitors or lace monitors or whatever the fuck you keep, always have extra caging.
Right.
Because you're always going to need it at some point.
Yeah, at this point, because like I have something made. I'm in the process. Like right now, they're in their final grow out stage of their enclosure. For like the last 6 months, they've been in a 6 feet by 4 feet by 4 feet deep. Like that's what they've been in. That's what they're in. That's what they're in right now. But obviously, like it's time, So I have something. I have an 8 by 6 by 6, or sorry, a 6 by 6 by 8 that's being built right now. But yeah, dude, I do see him kind of acting horny with her. I'm not lying. I do see like him kind of being a pest, but doesn't get overbearing. Like I said, she's still eating. Everything seems fine, but I guess you're right. I can't be looking at the age frame. I need to be because my pair's big, bro. Like they're ready to rock. I feel like, and I should be prepared for it. So I think instead of waiting for this enclosure, which should be here in like 2 months, I do have an 8 by 3 that I could empty out and just kind of have like as like a put them in there for like if I need to. Just anything would help. You know what I mean?
Just having something like that on standby would be good.
Right.
And there's signs, the females when they start to get ready to breed, they'll increase their food intake quite a bit, and you'll see them swell. They'll look like a football, and then they're not hard to catch locking up. So a lot of times, if you check on your animals on a daily basis, you'll probably see them locked up when they start to breed. And then,
I haven't seen any of that. No, I like I said, I've seen him kind of like I've seen my green tree monitors lock. I know how it is when it goes down, but I've seen him just kind of like getting underneath sometimes, like it almost looks like he wants to, and she's just like, fuck off. You know what I mean? So, I mean, I'm somebody who pays attention a lot every single day to those monitors. I'm interacting with them. So, yeah, I mean, but like I said, that I feel like that could be happening almost any time now. And I need to, I need to get the nest box down. I want to compact that dirt. Like I said, it's getting too dry too quick. And I feel like compacting it and, you know, getting it more wet would be the key. So I appreciate that advice. This has been a great episode, man. You understand this. I appreciate this a lot. I do know that I did not be able to, you know, there's so much more I want to talk to you about. But we will do this again if that's cool with you. I hope you had a good time, and we'll bring you back.
Yeah,
on.
no, it's fine, man. I'm sorry, I'm kind of not very enthusiastic. It's just been a
You're good, dude. Don't worry about it, bro. Listen,
all the other stuff, and I was
animals.
getting crapped on feeding animals to talking to you, so I don't look the best right now either.
Listen, you're good, bro. I appreciate it. We do have these hot seat questions I got to hit you with real quick before you head out. I'll try to make them quick and less painful for you. And then yeah, man, I can't wait to get back to Alabama, because now I have another reason to fly out to Alabama to come check out your place. But all right, hot seat questions for my man CM Exotics. You ready for these, Chris?
Yeah.
All right, here we go. Coming in hot. Frozen, thawed, or live?
Depends on the animal, but preferably frozen thawed.
Okay, a cut or no cut?
What was that?
A cut or no cut? Would you cut an egg or would you not cut an egg? Like the pip, like as far as the clutch.
So I used to be completely against not cutting the egg, but I actually had some long conversations with John Dragna, and I think there are certain exceptions. It's just kind of one of those things where you got to feel the situation out. If an egg's going to hatch or a clutch is going to hatch without any assistance, it'll be within 24 to 72 hours. If they go on past that and there's a slit that's not gotten any bigger for more than 24 hours, it's, in my opinion, smart to kind of just expand it a little bit, just because if that animal gets stuck, opening a hole big enough to eliminate their oxygen, but they're too stubborn to come out, you can lose the animal. So
longest answer,
thing.
Longest answer ever, but he's an egg cutter.
Sorry.
Red Chondro Neo or yellow Chondro Neo?
I like those. What are they called? Infernos, the yellows that have the deep red on the back.
Oh, okay.
When I hung out with Rico back in the day, that he had a few. But
game changer, the Infernos. Those are sick. I haven't really seen those in a while, to be honest.
I don't remember if that's the correct term for them, but those are my favorite Neos. The bright yellow ones with that kind of burnt red down the back.
Pre-first shed meal or post-first shed meal?
Post.
Baking temperatures fluctuate or leave it straight baked the whole time when it comes to your incubation?
I set it at 85.5 degrees, and it doesn't really fluctuate much from there.
And that's for what species do you normally? Is that for monitors?
Pretty much all monitors. That's mostly what I get eggs out of these days.
Cool. To miss the reptile or to not miss the reptile? Any reptile, snake, lizard, but would you spray or no?
I got like 7 sprayers all around these buildings. That way I got one everywhere I go. So spray them back.
All right. Yay sports or boo sports?
Yay sports.
Favorite sport?
I played soccer for a long time growing up, but being in the South, we spend a lot of time watching college football. So it'd be a time between those two, I think.
I'm assuming Alabama fan, right?
War Eagle, baby. I went to Auburn.
Oh, Auburn. Oh, that's right. Dude, you and Marshall Auburn, bro. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. Huge. Steak or fish?
Steak.
Favorite cut of steak?
Filet mignon, baby. Gotta go tender.
Van Halen or Sammy Hagar?
Van Halen.
Nice. West Coast rap or East Coast rap?
Have to go East Coast.
Favorite East Coast rapper?
Oh, man. Well, my favorite rapper of all time is Eminem. So, I don't know. It was my shit. And,
that's East Coast right there.
Grades, so it just kind of stuck with me.
All right, little word association. First seemed to come to mind. Milk.
Tits.
I like you. Cocoa.
Puffs.
Substrate.
Cocoa fiber.
Ovulation.
At least every 2 months.
Damn, sick. Day 60.
9 less than the best day.
I like this guy. Stuck shed.
Cup. I don't know.
Instagram trolls.
Oh, man. They're everywhere. I don't know any specifics on that one.
The reptile import game.
It's a lot of work.
If you had to get rid of one platform forever, Chris, and I mean forever, is it going to be Facebook or Instagram? Which one has to go?
Honestly, probably Facebook at this point.
Thank you. Respect. I'm sure you've had Facebook for quite a while too, right?
Yeah, it's been a long time.
Yep. Dude, what an amazing episode, Chris. I got to say, very informative. I took fucking notes. Like, I'm not trying to say I'm a know-it-all, but I do retain information for the most part, but I did not want to miss anything that you said on this episode. This was great. I got to say, you had mad people in here appreciating the same knowledge you dropped. So what do you have to say to anyone out there who's supporting you and anyone who really enjoyed this episode? Anything you want to say to any supporters you got out there?
So my buddy Wes Carter, he's been a big help. My cousin Thomas, he's a big plants aficionado. He's got all sorts of cool tropical plants. But my buddy Robert Harrelson, he's local here. They're just a few of the people that really go out of their way to come out and help me out. Wes, he lives in an entire different state. And anytime I get imports coming in here, he'll drive up here for the weekend just to help me unpack and get stuff situated, since I'm by myself pretty much. Robert, he's a local guy. He just got into reptiles a few years ago. He's had great success with flabbies and ackies and a few other things. He runs his own lawn care business, so he comes and helps me when he can. And then Tanis, he'll drive up here just to help me get stuff fed and moved along. John, he's always been a wealth of knowledge. I've known him for probably 10 or 12 years now. I talk to him on almost a daily basis, so we all stay pretty close knit. Alex, he's a great guy. He's got a couple of my animals. We always try and get together at least a couple times a year at some of the shows. Was going to try and go to Tinley this coming show, but my work schedule is so crazy, it's going to be up in the air. I'll definitely get Daytona this year, though. So
October, Tinley, maybe?
Yeah, that'll probably be more realistic, and I'll definitely be at Daytona in August. So,
well, fuck yeah, my man. Well, listen, enjoy the rest of your night. I'm sure I'm going to be in touch with you. You know how bad, if it's ever a possibility, you know how bad I want one of those normal laces. So I'll definitely be on your bumper about that. But hey, thank you, Chris. I appreciate this so much. This is it.
Yeah.
This is Chris from CM Exotics and Imports. Enjoy the rest of your night, bro. Thank you so much, man. Thank you.
Thanks, you too, man.
Later. Guys grinding. Guys been putting in a lot of work. Got to respect the man. Thank you so much for tapping in, everyone. I had a great episode. I mean, shoot, you don't understand how much I love these monitors. I mean, and I do know, when these monitors get to a certain point, if you don't have the nest box under control, if you don't have the caging under control, if you're just not fully prepared to keep adult monitors the way you should, things could go really wrong. And, I've invested a lot with these monitors, and I just want to do right by them. So to hear somebody who's been passionate about monitors for so long, and, to hear him successfully have lace monitors that he's hatched out after putting in that work, it's amazing to hear, man. This guy's, it's just not easy. You know what I mean? And, respect to him. Shout out to Chris, CM Exotics and Imports. Shout out to everyone who tapped in. I really appreciate it. I hope you guys are ready, because guess what? This week, it's for all my chondro people this week. I am not fucking around. I have fucking a Texas lineup this week that is going to blow people's mind, okay? So what I need people to do is be ready for tomorrow, because I'm bringing somebody super heavy to the new Breed on the Block series. That's right. We have somebody tapping in who was raised and groomed, not like as a child, but as a chondro keeper, by one of the best in the game. I feel like they call him the mayor of Texas. They call him the mayor of the chondro keepers of Texas. Okay. Is who this guy worked with. And you guys know my man, Bill Siegel, right? Right. Bill Stiegel. Well, this was one of his first assistants, if not his first assistants, that we're going to bring to the Trap Talk Roundtable tomorrow. And my man, Brian Phillips, has been keeping chondros for a handful of years. It's just now getting his hands wet with breeding them. And he has a lot to talk about. Let's hear what it's like breeding chondros from somebody who's just now starting to breed chondros. Do you want to see what it's like? Well, then tap in tomorrow and find out. Texas's finest is coming to fucking the Trap Talk Roundtable. So I got my man Brian Phillips tapping in tomorrow. And then, awesome thing, we're not done with Texas. Oh no, we're not done. Not even a little bit. After we got my man Brian Phillips, we have somebody who is not a new breeder. Actually, this guy's been killing it. He's actually probably one of the biggest people putting Texas on the map for the chondro breeders. And his name is actual Texas Chondros. My boy Mark Hager from Texas Chondros coming Thursday night, 6 o'clock Pacific Standard Time. It's going to go down. I hope you guys are ready. Chondro knowledge overload, man. It's going to go down. My boy Mark is A, he's a talker. B, very player. C, very player. I love this guy, man. This guy honestly is a wealth of knowledge. Very good close friend of Bill Stiegel as well. And yeah, I mean, dude, Texas is not fucking around. I'm telling you right now, man. They got some hitters. And you guys are about to find that out if you don't know this week coming up. So go down the link below, set your reminder. My Patreon family members, I'll see you in about 30 minutes. Okay, so if you were like, oh my God, the Trap Talk podcast is sick, how can I get more involved? Check it out. Go down the link below. Join the Patreon family right now. There's a link inside the most recent post on my Patreon page, which invites you to the Zoom session that we're about to have. You can come meet the family, tell us a little bit about yourself, and tap in with the fucking realest Patreon family that's in the game right now. I'm telling you right now, appreciate all my Patreon members. Thank you so much for your support. I'll see you guys in a bit. And again, thank you for all my trappers, all my viewers, everyone out there who's showing me support. Either way, man, if you're just here to watch, I appreciate that. So make sure you hit that like button before you check out. If you happen to check this late and forgot to hit the like button, it's never too late to hit the like button. Do it for my man Chris, man. My man Chris, man, he just plowed this fucking podcast super tired. He did it. Way to go. Good shit. Catch you guys tomorrow. New Breed on the Block series. My man Brian Phillips. I'm out.